Hi, my name is Ken Fernandez and welcome to my channel, Gamers Genie. Today we're going to learn the dungeon delving card game, One Deck Dungeon. This 1 to 2 player game designed by Chris Chieslik and published by Asmati Games. In this game, you are going to delve into dungeons, defeating different monsters in rooms. But as you delve deeper and deeper, the dungeon will ever be changing every time you go back in until finally you make it to the last floor where you fight the boss. Will you be able to make it to that last floor and conquer that final monster? Or will you just be the next meal for the monster that's in the bottom of the dungeon? Find out as we go to the table and learn how to play One Deck Dungeon. Each player chooses a hero. So I'm going to choose the mage. And I'll have Jordan be the rogue. Like so. And together your party chooses a dungeon to face. So we're going to face Minotaur's Maze. Keep it right here for now. Multiplayer games are fully cooperative. Use the one player side of your character if you're playing by yourself, but if you're playing up to 4 players, always use the 2 player side. Your hero and stat icons for strength. Strength would be up here, agility, magic, and health. Stack the experience level cards, level 1 on top, and level 4 on the bottom, and just place them onto the table. Shuffle the encounter cards, and I'm going to start my Genie magic now. Like so, and then place them on top of the stairs. And once again, if you're playing by yourself, you're going to use this side of the stairs, even if you're playing with 2 players. But if you're playing with 4 players, you're going to want to flip it over and play on this side. But since we're playing a 2-player game, we're going to play on this side. And then you place the stairs underneath the deck. And we slide the dungeon under the turn reference card. So it looks like this. So it has all these levels, but you're only going to show level 1. Return all unused heroes and dungeons to the box. They will not be used for this game. Place 1 potion token on the potion spot in your turn reference card. So place these here, place this here. And then we assemble all of the dice into a general supply, and I'll just put it down here so you guys can see it. And that completes the setup. Every turn has 2 phases that are shared by the whole team, and they take it by doing 2 steps: explore, enter a room, or encounter. You must spend 2 time at the start of each turn. The passage of time in One Deck Dungeon is represented by discarding cards off the top of the encounter deck. For each time spent, discard 1 card face up into the discard pile next to the encounter deck. There is no map or board in One Deck Dungeon. Instead, the dungeon layout is represented by face down cards called closed doors, as the art on the back of each card depicts a large wooden door. There will always be 4 available slots for doors. The Explorer option lets the party search through the dungeon to discover new doorways to open. On later turns, you can enter a room, flipping over a closed door to reveal an encounter and loot. To explore, Add face down doors from the encounter deck to the table until there are 4, as I did. Doors in play. Open doors count toward the limit of 4, as do closed doors from previous explore turns. You cannot explore if there are already 4 doors, whether open or closed, in play. You cannot explore if the stairs card is visible, because that means the encounter deck is empty. You can explore if there is at least 1 card in the encounter deck, but not enough to make 4 doors. Place as many as you can, and then the turn ends. The party may choose to descend. Some dungeons adjust the door limit of 4. All the action in one deck dungeon lies behind doors. When the party uses their turn to enter a room, you must select one of the doors in play. If the door is closed, first open the door by flipping it face up. Then the party can choose to either have an encounter or flee. If you flee, the turn ends immediately, and the face-up card remains in play as an open door. Otherwise, start the encounter using that card. If the door is already open, start the encounter. You cannot choose to spend your turn to enter an already open door and then flee from it. The steps involved in resolving an encounter are as follows as we proceed through the video. After the encounter is complete, the turn is over. All dice are returned to the general supply except for those stored on heroic feats or exiled. Future turns you'll spend 2 times and then have to choose whether to explore or enter a room based on the current situation. Each card in the encounter deck shows something standing between you and conquering the dungeon. In addition to the center of the card showing the obstacle the party must overcome, the edges of the card displays the loot that you can win if you survive. Encounters come in 2 types of combat perils. An encounter consists of several steps done in order. In any encounter, your ultimate goal is to cover as many challenge boxes as possible. Each time you don't cover will result in consequences. Combat and peril encounters have some differences, but the general encounter structure is still the same. First is your special ability, but this is only for combat. So if you're using a combat action, it'll work. But if you're not, that's not going to work. Most foes in combat encounters have special abilities. Its effect begins now. For abilities with an instruction, such as fire elementals, place a damage on a hero. Follow that instruction now. If you flee from an encounter, you ignore the ability. So we'll look at this. This spiked log does not have any ability. Thankfully, we do not have to activate it. However, there will be some cards that you will come across that have abilities, such as like a Wraith. It has Drain before you encounter, convert 1 item to experience points. So the ability that it's talking about would be right up there. So then you'll explain peril choice. But this is only for peril. Peril encounters offer 2 choices on how to overcome the obstacle they represent. The party must choose one of the 2 options now. Some choices have an associated time cost, which is paid now by discarding cards off the top of the encounter deck. The other choices challenge box is ignored entirely. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We'll choose to do this one right here. So we'll have to choose down here because we do not have any strength. So I get 1 speed and Jordan gets 3 speed, but because we didn't explore, I have a power that allows me to use this dice first. And then Jordan, I will roll my speed first, which is 3, and then Jordan's speed. Okay, so there we go. And then we'll put these 2 here. So that's how that would work. If we uncovered that, we'd take damage. Each player may choose to use their heroic feat. So that was mine. Using that black die was my heroic feat. Heroic feats allow you to roll black heroic dice, which can be used as any color during the encounter. As with all dice rolled, during an encounter, they're added to your dice pool. In a two-player encounter, one hero chooses to use the feat and resolves it completely before the other hero decides to use theirs. Then you gather. Each icon on your hero card plus icons on your items lets you roll die of its color in combat. So I would also get 3 magic, and Jordan would get 1 magic. But for this example, we're just going to stick to speed. In a peril encounter, you will roll the dice you have access to that matches the color of the option you choose in step 2. So we just did speed. All dice you roll are placed in an area called your dice pool. Your dice pool is where all dice you use cover boxes and pay for skills that are spent. At the end of an encounter, leftover dice are returned to the general supply. In a two-player encounter, each hero's dice pool is kept separate. If the party is experience level 2 or higher, the level card grants black dice as an encounter bonus. While gathering dice, the party must choose which hero rolls each encountered bonus die. It will become part of their dice pool. If there are not enough dice of color available in the general supply, your access icons have no effect. In a two-player game, choose which hero claims the dice to roll first. Some dungeon or combat encounter special abilities trigger off a die roll, such as immediately discard all 1s and 3s rolled. These take effect before any of your hero's skill cards can be used. Then you can use skills and place dice. In an encounter, the party must try to cover as many active challenge boxes as possible. In a combat encounter, all challenge boxes on the encounter card are active. In a peril and encounter, only the box under the chosen option is active. So we chose an encounter, we chose a peril, not an encounter. So this top box is not active. The other box is ignored entirely. There are challenge boxes on a dungeon card as well, depending on the type of encounter. All boxes from all visible floors on the appropriate side of the dungeon are active. On the other side is ignored. But if you were to fight a monster, you would do it on this side. Traps would go here. Any combat encounter would go here. You may take the following actions any number of times. Cover a challenge box with dice from your pool until you have covered all the boxes. With armor, you cannot cover a non-armor box. Use one of your skills, first spending any dice required to fulfill its cost. Spent dice are discarded, and then skill's effect occurs. This will often grant you additional dice. Each skill can only be used once per encounter. Many skills are usable in one type of an encounter, combat, or peril, which is indicated by the icons next to the skill title. So, as you can see down here, my skill can be used in either combat or peril, but it can't be used against a boss. Most of them can't be used against bosses. Spend a potion token to use the effects of one potion type you've identified. You can spend 2 dice to gain a heroic die, placing it on your pool. Set its value equal to the lower of the 2 spent dice. You can discard a die to the general supply. This can be useful if you need to gain or roll a die and there are none of the correct colors left in the general supply. Dice spent for any of these actions are returned to the general supply, available for use by skills or effects later in the encounter. During a peril encounter, if there is ever a die in your dice pool that does not match the color of the peril option, discard it immediately. Heroic dice match the option color. The dungeon challenge boxes for peril encounters are gray and can be filled with any die. If you are unable to cover every active challenge box, the icons in the remaining active boxes show the consequences of completing the encounter. For each visible heart, place 1 damage token on a hero. So if we didn't cover that up, that would be 3 damage total. In a 2-player encounter, damage must be divided as evenly as possible. For each visible hourglass, spend 1 time by discarding the top card of the encounter deck. If any hero has at least as many damage tokens as health, then the game is over, unless they use a potion or other effect to heal. If a skill or effect causes some number of icons to be ignored, they never become part of the consequences for the encounter. After suffering consequences and surviving, the encounter card is claimed as loot. The party chooses to take it either as an item, a skill, a potion, or experience. In the case of an item or skill, the party chooses which hero claims the card as loot. Potions and experience are shared for the entire party. So we finished this off, and let's just say for now, Jordan and I decide to use it as experience. We just place it like so. Turn the dice to the pool, as well as that one. Your current experience level restricts the number of items and skills each hero can have. It also provides you with bonus heroic dice for all encounters once you reach level 2. Items represent new equipment your hero picks up in the dungeon, raising stats so you can roll more dice in each encounter. To take a card as an item, let's just say we beat this one, so you take it and you tuck it so that way everything showing comes out there. Place it like that. In the left edge of your hero card. Skills give your hero various ways to use dice for greater effect. To take a card as a skill, it's the same thing. Take the card once you beat it, and you tuck it underneath your current skill that you have. This does not cancel out any skills that you had in previous turns. It's just another option. Identified potions give you more options on how to spend your potion tokens. To identify a potion, if you beat a card with a potion on it, you just tuck it underneath your reference card, and that will be a new potion added to your collection. Each token can be used for any one potion. And finally, experience helps the party level up. To take a card as experience, you just tuck it under your level card as I showed here. It'll look like that. And that'll go towards your experience. To level up, you need to achieve the number of experience the card is requesting. You can see that in the bottom left corner of the card. So for this card, in order to level up to level 2, we need 6 experience. So we only need 3 more. When taking an item or skill as loot, you can replace an existing item or skill with your new loot. The replaced card becomes experience and is immediately tucked under the level card. A hero cannot have duplicate skills, and the party cannot identify the same potion type twice. But, as I pointed out, the skills that we have starting out with, they do not go away. The potions that you have starting out with, they do not go away. They just add to that. It's just if you have a potion that's the same type, or a skill that's the same type as the one you already equipped, you can't do that. Each hero has a special ability called a heroic feat. Most feats grant access to black heroic dice. During the use of heroic feat step of an encounter, each hero can choose to use their feat. A heroic feat does not count as a skill. Some feats, such as mana charge, can only be used after you store up heroic dice, based on various conditions. These dice are placed on the hero card until spent. A little note, the most heroic feats cannot be used during the boss. Most heroic feats cannot be used during the boss fight. Stored dice on these feats are returned to the general supply when you reach the boss. It's so that way you're trying your hardest with what you earned rather than just, using a very powerful ability. Every skill or potion has icons next to its title, indicating whether it can be used in combat, encounters, or peril encounters. Each skill can only be used once during each encounter or boss round. Potions can be used multiple times in an encounter or boss round as long as the party has enough potion tokens. The left side of the skill is its cost. Each skill will cost one or more of the dice that you rolled for an encounter. You can only spend dice from your pool, not your partner's. Spent dice are discarded to the general supply. The right side of a skill is its effect, which will help you overcome the encounter. There are potions, and you discard a potion token from the turn of reference. A potion token can be used by a hero to gain effects of any one potion ability that party has identified. There are so many more potions and skills, I cannot really go over each of them in detail. You can find all of this in your rulebook, and I'll let you discover that for yourself. Also, I want to end this with this little helpful hint. Most cards will just plainly tell you what they can and can't be used for. Either by just showing a symbol, either by number one, just showing a symbol. So for example, my power transfer can only be used if we're doing like a combat, not a peril. Or sometimes it'll show a picture of the thing that it can't be used with a red X through it. So be on the lookout for some of those things. After paying the cost for skill or potion performance effect, effects use the following keywords. Gain, which means you take a die of the given color from the supply and add it to your pool, showing the number indicated. Roll, which means you can take a die of the specified color, roll it, and add it to your pool. Increase, which allows you to change the value of one of the dice in your pool by an indicated amount. A die's value cannot go above 6 or below 1. Reroll or change after dice are already in your pool. Prevent. You can ignore symbols in challenge boxes during Suffer the Consequences. And discard. You place a die in the general supply. Healing and invisibility potions can be used during times other than encounters. In a two-player game, both heroes skip the encounter if an invisibility potion is used. Only one hero heals when a healing potion is used, however. At the end of an encounter, if the party has enough experience tucked under the level card, you then discard the experience that you have gained, and then you put the level up. So now you can gain 2 items and 2 skills when you go up to level 2, as well as you get an encounter bonus, and you get the ability to use an extra potion. Remove level card and cards with enough experience to achieve the experience level, and place them in the game box. So these 2 go in the box. Any unused XP cards are not removed. Each level up will grant 1 free potion token. Also, your hero's capacity for holding items and learning skills will increase. Finally, the level card indicates how many free heroic dice the party gains in every encounter and boss fight round. The party chooses which hero rolls the bonus heroic die each time. Level 4 is the maximum level. Instead of leveling up, the party may spend 5 experience to gain a potion while at experience level 4. The stairs card is placed at the bottom of the dungeon deck. At the start of each floor of the dungeon, when is revealed, so we're going to reveal it, the path deeper into the dungeon opens. You dawdle too long through the various fields of the dungeon will catch up to you. All the stairs card is visible. Place a damage token for each time spent for any reason. Each time 3 tokens are on a card, a hero takes 1 damage. So every time if we have to use time for any reason, each time that happens, we place a token. If we have 3, we place 1 on one of the heroes, and that'll be that. And this can happen multiple times. The party can descend at the end of any turn when the stairs card is visible, or immediately if the stairs are revealed while spending time to start a turn. To descend, discard all doors currently in play, and shuffle the discard pile to form a new deck. So this, I'm just going to do this, form a new deck. Place the stairs card at the bottom again, slide the dungeon card up one level to reveal the new floor effects and challenge boxes. All visible effects and challenge boxes, including ones from previous floors, are now in effect. When you descend past the third floor of the dungeon, you flip over the dungeon card to the boss monster face up. It's time to fight the boss. The boss fight consists of multiple rounds. The boss has a health value and special ability along the bottom of its card. After each round, the party will deal damage to the boss. Heroic feats marked with a skull and an exterior and an X cannot be used in the boss fight. If you have any heroic dice stored on your hero card for such a feat, return them to the general supply before the fight. The following steps will occur each round. First, you will gather and roll dice, just like combat and encounters. You can place dice using skills. Same as combat encounters, skills and potions usable during a combat encounter can be used in the boss fight. Each skill can be used once per round. You can also suffer consequences for uncovered challenge boxes. If this damage causes the game to end, stop before moving on to step 4. But if it doesn't, then you move on to step 4. For each skull covered, place 1 damage token on the boss. So he has 5 skull tokens in all. So for each one, he gets a damage. If the boss has at least as much damage as health, which is 10, he is defeated and the heroes win the game. Return all dice to in the pools on the boss to the general supply and begin a new round. However, if you do, the same rules apply. If one of your heroes dies, then you all lose the game. And that's all you need to know to play One Deck Dungeon. If you have any questions about this game, please put them in the comments below and I'll get to them as soon as I possibly can. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell to be notified for how to play videos just like this. And if you're feeling in a charitable mood, consider donating to Books for Africa. This is to help the battle against illiteracy in the country of Africa. Obviously, you can donate books, you can donate money, or you can just spread the word. That is one of the best ways you can help charities like this. It is a great charity. Jordan picked this one because she really likes books and she wanted to do a book-themed charity. I will leave a link to that in the description below, so feel free to check them out. Be on the lookout for our gameplay video on One Deck Dungeon. But until then, thanks for the views.